with 843 TV here at Schiller and Hamilton Law Firm, and we get to talk with Bennett one-on-one today, which is always wonderful. You are really doing a great job educating us and the viewers today about different claims, and we're going to move on to Social Security disability.
Right. So, oftentimes we hear people say things like, oh, they're just living off the government, or this person should be working. And, Social Security disability is unique in that while we are working, we have benefits withheld from our paycheck. We have taxes and we have other things taken out of our paycheck, and part of that is to purchase disability insurance through Social Security. So when someone is drawing disability benefits, they're not taking from the taxpayer, they're taking from an insurance policy that Social Security provides out of that person's paycheck. So there's actually two types of Social Security disability. There's supplemental security income, which means if you haven't paid enough into the system, it's enough to provide a small amount of money if you don't have enough assets or if you don't have enough income in your household just to get by, basically, and that's called supplemental security income. The other one is disability benefit, Social Security Disability Insurance, and it's SSDI. And that's the one where if you are no longer able to engage in any substantial gainful employment on a sustained or continuous basis, and you've paid into the system and are still eligible for those insurance benefits, then you're entitled to essentially start drawing your disability based on your inability to go back to work. And so if someone has been working and for whatever reason are unable to go back to work and they don't have transferable job skills to move into some other type of work, a more sedentary type of work, and it could be the result of a physical injury, it could be the result of some mental condition, or even a medical condition. Sometimes, your medical condition requires you to attend multiple doctor's visits. If you're unemployable because you're going to miss too much time from work, then you may also qualify. So there's a wide range of conditions that may qualify someone for disability benefits. And it doesn't always have to be a physical, it doesn't always have to be some type of physical limitation. It can be a mental condition. And they will review those if it's something that may not be permanent but may last more than 12 months. They will put you up for a review and they'll reevaluate it. They're looking at the medical records. They may even have one of their independent doctors evaluate someone to determine whether they're still eligible or remain eligible for those benefits. So just because you start receiving benefits doesn't necessarily mean you're entitled to those benefits. And of course, when you turn 65, it converts over from disability to your normal retirement.
Gotcha. That was a lot of questions I had. With the other things, workers' comp and personal injury, is kind of a little bit more tangible, but certain things like this disability with mental issues, it's very common, or they're sustained, they can't work long term. It's a little bit more challenging to determine. And how do you help with that?
Right. So obviously we do an initial intake and we'll bring them in and we'll talk about what's going on, but typically someone has already applied and has been turned down. Okay. And then, the time is of the essence. You got 60 days to file a request for reconsideration. And then if you get turned down again, you've got 60 days to file a request for a hearing. And preparing for the hearing, one of the things that we find out most often is that Social Security on their own has not recovered all of the medical records that person may have, especially the more recent ones. And so our job is to make sure that all of the information is provided to Social Security so that they can make an informed decision. But what we're really trying to establish is, based on their work history, do they possess the residual benefit or the ability to engage in work? For instance, you may not be able to go back to your work, but are there other jobs that exist in the national economy in a sufficient number so that you would be qualified for those types of jobs? And we're looking at transferable job skills, education, work history, and all of those things become really important because you may not be able to go back to your job, but there's other jobs that you may be able to do given your limitations, whether it's a medical condition, a mental condition. Oftentimes, what we see is there are short periods of disability. Perhaps somebody got diagnosed with cancer and is going through their chemotherapy and their treatment. Well, during that time, it may be very difficult to maintain suitable employment, and they may be entitled to benefits until they've beaten the cancer, right? And so, there's all sorts of things that we look at, but work history is very important. Transferable job skills become very important. What type of training they've had that would allow them to move into a more sedentary type job.
A lot of good stuff that we're learning from you as well. So, but there's a lot to process too. So basically, not be afraid to inquire.
Right. I mean, the first step's easy. You go and apply for Social Security and give them the authorization to get your medical information, and then they'll make a decision. And then if you're denied and you feel like you're disabled, then you give us a call, and we'll try to help you out.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with 843T.